This video is going to be on about the idling problem I've been having with the Suzuki Boulevard. Mine's a 2012, and it seems more and more people are asking me about it, and a lot of people are having trouble with it. First, I'd like to clear up one thing. The guy that out there that's emailing me, got my email address, he's asking me, do I smoke? He said, you smoke. And he said, what kind of cigarettes do you smoke? I don't smoke. I smoked way back when I was real young. I don't know why he comes up with that. I have a pipe. I know it's a bad habit. I always have it with me. Got it right here. I have my pipe, but I don't smoke. So that ought to settle that. Now, I have been researching this, trying to figure this out with the idling situation with that. I've been on YouTube, never get anything, that really tells me what it is. You have a scanner thing on your bike, and you can bring up a code, and it's a C40 that comes up, and that is, if you look into it, it's the idler speed control. And what it is it's right here, this piece right here on your carburetor. This would be setting in a bike like this. I believe this would be the left side, this would be the right side. The speed controller thing is in the front. I'm thinking that's the way it goes. Yeah. Okay, this is the left, this is the right, and right in front is this piece here, and it's the idle speed control. Now, in researching my material and what to do and what to try is, I'm reading a lot in the book, trying to understand it, and one thing is, I looked on the bike right under the exhaust pipe on the right-hand side. You'll see two stickers. There's two stickers on mine. And one said on there about electronically controlled idle speed, 1100 RPM, non-adjustable, which means that should all be set to 1100. And I noticed where a lot of the older bikes will have a screw under there, you cannot adjust the idle up and down. This doesn't. This doesn't have that. And where your cables come in, I think right here they put that yellow paint on there. It's like, don't touch it. You shouldn't adjust it here on the stop with your cables. You shouldn't try that. It should be set right and everything. So another thing is about this ISC control, that's the idle speed control, this thing here. If you look at it, it's tilted, and there's a reason. They tell you in the book, do not take this off because it's initialized to this carb body. This is your carb body. And they call it a carb body even though you have injectors on it. It's not carbureted, it's fuel injection. But this is the carb body. And the screws in this, you have to have a security bit to get those loose. And I'm going to put this up close and hope that you can see it's a security bit where it looks like a star, but it has a hole in the middle. Because this has where you can't put anything but this on. I got a set of these at Harbor Freight a long time ago. And let me take this off because this is an old carb. Take these out and show you what you're up against. And everything points that I found is this is bad. Now, if you're going to take this off your bike and put a new one on, let me get this bracket holds it on. There. Now, pulled out, there was a little spring that fell. So let me get that little spring. I had forgot about that. Here it is. Okay, there's a little spring on it. Now, there's no ring that fits right in here. If you bought a new one of these, they tell you to use a new O-ring, put engine oil on it. When you put this back in, they want you to go straight in with it, like this. It's straight up and down when you put it in. Now this bottom, you're going to turn 20 degrees this way. So you're going to need like a protractor or something. Put this on a perfectly level place and put it up, your protractor up there, go exactly 20 degrees tilt that way. Then put it back up. Now, we're going to go by, I'm going by the Climber book, and here's exactly what it says. Note, and this is called the ISC, idle speed control valve. That's what they call it in the book. Do not remove the ISC valve unless the Suzuki Diagnostic System SDS tool part, and they give the part number, is available. The ISC valve presents preset program and diagnostic trouble code must be cleared whenever the ISC valve is removed, and a new ISC valve must be initialized upon installation. The SDS tool is needed to perform this procedure and to inspect the ISC valve. So I had bought the tool. The reason I bought it is I looked through them. I found a motorcycle, it's like a scanner, and I got it, and it's not cheap. It was, I think, $360. So you have all these cables for different bikes for it. This is the one main cable I picked for this. Then it goes from here to here. Well, they gave me one for Suzuki, but it's not for the 2012. It must be for the older ones. I contacted them. They had to order this one to match my bike. This cable here. Then you had to buy 2 cables to get it, and they had to send to China, so it took a long time to get. They gave me this, and then they give me the one that you plug in and you have a switch to get the codes on the bike. It's like a 2-pack. You have to buy it, and it was, I think, $30-some, almost $40 to get them 2 cables. Waited a long time, finally got them. So now I can use this, and I believe this extra cable coming out is if you want to put a 12-volt power system into this. You plug a thing in and they give you 2 alligator clips, so you could have a battery out of the bike and use it for power to scan instead of using your bike battery. But I mean, I keep mine charged up, might as well just plug it in, when you plug this in, it'll come up and it'll turn it on. So I have that tool to reset it. I've been playing with it. But then this is the book that came with that thing, that scanner. I thought it'd be a big thick book explain how to do it. Nope, it shows you different things you can bring up, and there's one here, and it says it's an actuator test, and it has numbers. It's cooling fan relay, 2 is a PTC heater, 3 exhaust air valve, then 4 it's the ISC air volume. It's going to test that. So I thought, I'm going to get a new one. I'm not going to the dealers because you know what they're like. So I go and I start on the computer and I want a new one. You definitely don't want something like that used. You want a new one. And I found it's called Adapt Power Sports, ADEPT, powersports.com. And they have, you can go through their system and find them. I found different, they have like exploded views of this and what the part number is and everything. They have this, and then they had the O-rings. So I looked at it, I bought this, and I thought I'll get 2 O-rings with it, because you never know, if you damage one trying to put it in, you better have 2. Probably should have ordered more, but I got 2 coming. Ordered them yesterday. This piece alone and the 2 O-rings come to a total of $266.78. So you take it to the dealer, you know what they're going to charge you for that, then to put it in and everything. So I'm going to try it. I figured that's where I'm at now. I got to, try something. I'm trying to do it myself. So when I get that part, I got to put it in and everything. Then I got to put that, when it's on the bike and everything's put back, I got to put it on there and see if I can go in and reset it. And once you reset it, it should keep your RPMs, 1100 RPMs, It should check, you know, the air volume going through. I put a new air filter on it. I'm going to clean when I'm going to take the tank off. I have to take it off, and I'm going to take that unit out, and I'm going to clean it. I've cleaned the fuel injectors. They work great. I've already done that. And it's a nightmare what you go through with this. I've had one guy told me he took his to the dealer, cost him $600. He said 2 weeks later it's back doing what it was doing before. Another guy said he spent over $1,000. They replaced stuff. Wasn't right. And one guy told me even a dealer, he took it there and they worked on it, and they said they couldn't fix the problem. They couldn't find it. Well, what do you do then? I mean, you know, back in the old days when I used to work at motorcycle shops, you had carburetors. I mean, the worst could happen to them is you didn't even have to rebuild them. You cleaned them. You tore them apart and cleaned them. I do that on stuff today. For the neighbor, I fixed his generator because it's set so long. I told him, you need to run it through the summer. You know, he has it for the winter in case the power goes off. You got to clean them, you know, or run them once in a while. He didn't. That happened. He had a snowblower, one walk behind, big, nice one. Wouldn't run. Same thing. I took it apart, cleaned it, cleaned all the jets out real careful, put it back together, run beautiful. My cousin lives up here. She had a weed eater thing, and it was a pretty sizable one. You could cut some weeds with it, and it wouldn't run. I opened it up, and I think I showed on there about, you know, how to fix it, and it had dirt inside. I don't know how the hell she got dirt in it. Must have went through the tank or something. You know, you think it'd have a filter, but there was actually dirt inside. I dumped out. I cleaned it, started right up, worked good. I wish Suzuki probably knows this problem that people are having. I mean, you know, somebody, I might contact them. And you know what I'd like to see? I'd really like to see is a kit that they would sell you with 2 carburetors, and then your carburetors, these things would you could put them on that bike, hook up the cables, and have regular carbs on them. You don't need these fuel injectors where, you know, like I said, what is it, $266 for this. There was one of these over here. I was just looking at them through the place I was looking at to get the parts. One of them's $170. Well, my God, you can't start replacing all them. It's a nightmare. I think when I take mine back off, what I'm going to do is clean it all. I have cleaner for, you know, the carburetor, mass air cleaner, all that. I'm going to, you know, do everything I can until I get that part. But it would be nice if you had that set and you could put it on carburetors, 2 carburetors, and then where all this other stuff plugs in for fuel injectors and that, maybe they could have a thing where you plug all them into that, and it takes care so you don't get that, you know, FI light coming up all the time, because, you know, if you don't plug them in, it'll probably come up, because the computer thinks it's, you know, even if it was a kit with the carbs and a new computer thing, you know, a one-time deal where you put it on, it's foolproof, and you could go. I got that 2012 Suzuki. I forget how many miles are on it. There ain't that many. And I mean, there it sets. You know, holy hell, what do? You going to part it out and get rid of it, or sell it like it is? So, I love the bike, but I'm trying everything I can. So to the guys that was asking me about it, that's where I'm at. I'm waiting for that part, and I'm going to have to get that tank off and go through all that. It's a nightmare, but one good thing is a lot of the stuff you just unplug, and then I'm going to have to put that, I don't dare start it. I got to put this tool on and see if I can get that reset, initialized to this. And that was one of the reasons I bought the tool, was it was advertised, and I think it stated ISC adjustable, meaning this would do it. So, and this thing has you can put it on your computer, and I think when you run it, you can take that, put it in your computer and see it, or it has a place for an SD card. You can put an SD card in there, see all your readings, and then put it in your computer and see exactly. You could probably see it on a screen, but I mean, you can put it on your computer and keep it, and you can see where everything's running. But man, that's getting involved for a 800cc bike. It's a nightmare. And another thing, a lot of the Suzukis are like the Yamahas, because we see my nephew had the 1100 Yamaha V-Star, and there's so much that's identical to that. It has the extra tubes that come off the exhaust, you know, for the air system. That's something you need to check. And I was even thinking of taking them off and making sure them are cleared out. He had both of his burned through. I fixed them with a little piece of metal I fitted in there, and I put that JB weld on it. The red and yellow stuff that I always talk about, I like better than the red and black. I get the red and yellow, you mix up, I'd put a little on till it was dry, then put some more, held it great, worked great. Then, like I said, I had told before, my neighbor and I went to Harbor Freight. We come out, and there's a guy with a V-Star. And I went over, and he was just getting ready to get on his bike, and I said, how you doing? I said, my nephew has one of them. I said, you know, there's something to check on them. And I put my finger down there, it was burnt out. I went on the other one, it was smaller, but it was burnt out. And I said, feel this. He could not get over it. He said, I can't believe it. He said, I had trouble with that bike. He said, I could tell it sounded different and stuff. He said, I had no idea what it was. I said, them are prone to burn them bikes out. And I told him how to fix it. I said, one's almost $100, the other one's like 110 or 20, something like that, for them two pipes. So I told him how to fix it with JB Weld. But first, square the hole up, make a little piece of metal to set in there, and you could even put a magnet close, you know, on the one side to hold it. Put that JB Weld, wait till it's hard, then take the magnet off, fix it, and they're always in a spot where you can't really see it. And you can build it up a little bit, you know, with JB Weld, and let it get real hard, you'll be good. And he said, I ride with a few other guys that have the V-Stars. He said, I'm going to tell them all. And I said, get the word around, because, you know, anytime I'm washing a bike and cleaning it, I feel that it's right on the bend on one of those, you know, right on the bend is where it's going to burn out. That's a lot of heat going down through there. But that's where I'm at. I'm sticking with it. I'm really trying, but everything tells me it's the idle speed control. They don't call it a sensor, they call it a control. I want to read through my book again while I'm waiting for it, and like I said, I can take the tank off, set it here, this and that. The Harley's running great, but I got that stinking oil leak. These old bikes, it's a 1970. That's when AMF, I think, owned it. And they always leaked. They always said about the Harleys marking their spot and this and that. It's not the motor, it's a transmission. It's right where the shaft comes out and your sprocket goes on for your chain. Right in there. They have two pieces of metal, the shaft goes through and a piece of metal, and it's so closely made, but there's no seal there. There's that little other seal on the outer part. It seems not to hold it. Now, they have a screw that goes down in your transmission that holds the plate on the top of the transmission, and it actually has a little hole in the side that goes down in there. That's to keep, when you get a higher air pressure, it's to keep that from pushing out the oil when the air pressure goes up and down. And I even bought, you can buy them, and I get my parts from JC Cycles. They got a couple different places, but they're fast shipping. They have about everything for this old bike I need. They actually have, you take that screw out and then you put this in, and it's got a pipe coming off of it. So it's a bigger opening, and then a little hose goes on down to the bottom of the bike. Well, down where it comes under the bike, you want to cut it off up, and you want to cut it kind of straight, because, you know, if you slash cut a pipe going down, like your battery overflow, well, the Suzuki don't have it, but the Harley does. It has a acid battery. And if you cut it slash one way, it'll push the air up in there and pressurize that. If you have it the other way, it'll suck air out of there. So you want to kind of level it and put it up. Don't have it hanging way under the bike. You have to have it up kind of under the frame, tucked under there, because the old, remember the old pump things for insects they had? That's how that worked. There was a tube up in there and it was slash cut where it would suck it out going that way, the way you would pump it. So I got another oil seal deal from them, and a guy showed on there about putting a vent and O-ring in this part where the shaft goes through. You have to cut it on the lathe, and that thing that you get is hard, so it don't wear. It's hard. I had cut one, put it in, and it leaked very little. But if I'd run it every couple days, I'd run it, it wouldn't leak at all. Now it's leaking, so I got to fix that. The train plug was stripped out. They had because they strip out their aluminum. If you tighten them a little too tight, it had been stripped. You can buy an extra big plug, and it's almost tapered like a tap, and you can use it. Well, I don't know what happened. Somebody drilled it out bigger, and they had a soft plug. If you know anything about cars, they have this soft plug that you push in, and then it's made where there's a nut on it. You tighten, and it squeezes that, and the rubber comes outward to seal. That's what they have in it now. I said, that's no good. I got to buy one of them plugs every time I change oil. So what I did was I measured the hole. I had to go a little bigger, and I got a tap, and then I got a die that same size, so that I can make an aluminum part that goes up in there. Then I can, have it, before I put it in, I can drill it and make it the standard plug size and use my regular plug. Yeah, I bought a new plug for it. But that way I'll go back to like the original, that bigger piece that I'm going to turn on the lathe and then use a die to put the threads on, and I put it up in there. I'm going to put red Loctite so that it's in there and it stays. And then I bought a lot of other stuff for the Harley, just little odds and ends I need. I'm trying to get everything done. The mirrors, original mirrors were bad. I just didn't like them. So what I did was I had bought a set off of eBay. I get them, they got some marks on them, like in the glass. They're too short, this and that, so I ordered 2 new mirrors. That drove me crazy, but I'd put up with it. But I want the right mirrors on it, just other stuff like that. But this here, I am really trying to figure it out, and it's been a hell of a drive, I tell you. Man, oh man, to try to get this thing to work right. And I think they said, I don't know why, but I think they said this one unit here do not take off. I'll have to read about it again. But it's just, and when I go to take that off, I think, like I said, I'll have this part. I think I'm going to try to take off some of the stuff. I'm not going to mess with anything that's set. I'm going to just try to clean this in here and spray through some of these, things, and make sure, they're opened up. And like I said, I might even, if I'm there, I might even take them 2 pipes off, and get like a pipe cleaner and put down inside those 2 pipes I was talking about that burn out. They're with the air induction system, they call it, and make sure they're cleared out. But everything says C40, the idle speed control. So I'll make a video on down the road where I can put that on, get all that done, and see what's going on with it. Doing my best. But if I put it on and I can't set it this and that, I might wait till summer, because we got a lot of snow now. It just snowed some today, and tonight it's supposed to snow. Then overnight, towards morning, it's supposed to rain. So we'll probably have ice. So I'm going to have to wait before I could ever even run the bike to have it warm enough to open these doors up, and because of the exhaust. I just tried it one day, and I opened the man door, and it wasn't enough. It started getting stinky in here. I mean, you know, I didn't want to take off them big plastic doors. I call them plastic doors that I can see out. I made for here because I got tape around the edges to keep the air out. So, but what I might do is I have a trailer and I redid it all, and I have I bought new lights for it and stuff like that. I have to finish that up, put a hitch on the car, and I might just take it to the dealer and let them do the final thing if I have to. But I'm hoping I can get it running myself. Try to have a good day.